Welcome back to Gotham Sound TV. We are here with Pliant Technologies. We've got our friend Matt. He's going to take us over all the things that are applicable for broadcast and live production sound. So without any further ado, Matt, how are you doing today, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Excellent, man. Thank you for asking. I love our little chit chat on foods, so we'll get back to that soon. But
absolutely,
take us on the offerings from Pliant. You know, tell us what's new, what's kind of been here, and what we should be looking out for.
Yeah. So what's great is that we've got a lot of new stuff here at this show specifically this year, which is fantastic. Obviously, a lot of stuff specifically for the broadcast market, but all the stuff's really going to be in our top-end system, which is the CrewCom system. Excellent. So that's our large system, really more for distributed type scenarios. So, you know, large broadcast studios, you know, large theaters, live sports production, you know, big arenas, things like that. So all of our infrastructure typically will go over, you know, Cat5, Cat6, or single mode fiber. One of the big things that we've added this year is the ability to now interface with Dante. So we have a half-rack Dante interface coming out, which will basically convert our data protocol, which we call CrewNet. And that will convert that to a Dante signal. And we've got 2 redundant ports on this box, which will give us 32 channels.
Oh, there it is.
Yep. And that'll still tape back on there, of course.
Absolutely. And that was 32 channels bidirectional.
So that'll give you 32 channels bidirectional and then 2 redundant ports. So obviously if one port goes down, the other one will pick that up automatically.
Right.
But that gives us the ability to crosstalk with anything on the Dante network that we did not have the ability to do before. And what's great is that it's an ancillary piece, so if somebody needs the option for Dante, they can get it. If they don't need the option for Dante, they don't have to do it, and the rack unit will still perform exactly the same.
Exactly. So speaking of need, if you guys have a need to ask any questions, we are live, so Matt is here with us. This is a physical thing. Please put your questions in the chat. If you need to ask them later, and we've already ended the broadcast, make sure you hit up info@gothamsound.com, and we will get those questions answered for you. So go ahead and continue to take us through the rest of the lineup here, though.
Yeah, so actually right next to that, we have our brand new IP-rated transceiver. So this guy, it's basically the exact same connections on the back as our traditional metal chassis unit, but now this is going to be a more lightweight option, and it's going to be IP65 rating. So this, now we can finally use this in a little bit more inclement weather, outside of course. We do have, not weatherproof, but weather-resistant sleeves that can slip over top of these to help out with inclement weather. So obviously you want to mount these vertically with the ports on the bottom, but still, same ports, and anything that's not open, we can actually close with IP65 rated port closures on here. And these will still work exactly like the other ones with either cat connection or single mode fiber. Of course, the fiber SFPs are swappable, of course. So if you have different connections or you need different length to do the signal, we can do that.
Got some options.
These will hopefully be coming out very early next year. And now, related to that, we also have a brand new transceiver mount that we released as well. So this bracket is actually going to give us multiple connection points on the bottom now for mounting.
Oh,
so this gives us the option for 1/4-20, 3/8, 5/8, and Manfrotto hex.
Nice.
So no matter how anybody wants to mount the transceiver, regardless of what you have in your kit bag, now we can do it natively with this.
Right. No,
so the old bracket was just a 1/4-20 thread only. Now you're good to go wherever you're going to be at.
And this adapts via 3/8? Or is that 1/4-20 to go into that?
This is 3/8 threads on here.
Okay, copies.
So now what's cool is in addition to this bracket, we do have a Sony V-mount plate that can go on here.
Very
so
nice.
if you're doing remote production for, let's say, a concert out in the field, you don't have a local power drop, we can actually use this same mount to do a Sony V-mount adapter plate on here. And then we can do any Sony V-mount battery that can slip on there.
Lovely.
So now you don't have to worry about a local power drop. We can throw one of these batteries on there. And with the battery that we sell, we can do up to 17 hours of usage on one transceiver.
That's amazing battery life, yeah.
So.
It's IP rated 67, you said?
65.
65.
IP65.
Okay. Copy that.
Yep. So what else we have here is a brand new radio pack that we have coming out for CrewCom. So this guy is what we call our CRP C12. So obviously also still 900 megahertz. This is going to work with both CrewCom and the CB2 system. So either one of our rack units in the CrewCom series, this will work with either or as just a very lightweight 2-channel option. Still takes the exact same batteries as the existing system, which is great, so we don't have to do a different battery. But smaller headset port just to keep the profile small. But this will work, as I said, with both CrewCom and CB2. So A and B buttons on the top, simple talk button on there, and very nice tactile buttons on the side for plus minus for your volume.
Do you have any utility with the USB-C?
So the USB-C connector on the bottom, so that's a couple different things. I can either do charging via USB-C. This is for pack pairing to one of the rack units, or this is also for firmware updates as well.
Nice,
so all three for the utility for that.
Lovely.
Yep.
I love. I just get very upset when people don't utilize a USB-C connection in 2025. So I appreciate that. And the battery node is goes a long way in terms of keeping all the model lineups, just very unified, so you can pivot very easily.
Absolutely. That was one of the big things we wanted to make sure of with doing that smaller profile pack, was to keep the exact same battery as the existing CrewCom packs, just so we could keep everything uniform. We didn't have to do a separate battery charger or anything like that.
Right, and this is the charger behind it.
This is actually the new one that we have. So that's the next thing. So we do have the larger 6-bay that fits 6 packs plus 6 batteries. But the only other thing we had to charge packs was just a multi-port USB charger with USB cables. So to kind of find that in between, we just took the packs out of it and made it so we can just do 6 batteries all in one shot.
Lovely.
So this is going to fit real nicely in a drawer for a rolling rack, being able to go out to a production, have something nice, small, compact, throw it in a smaller drawer, get a couple of these, multiple batteries, you're good to go.
And then networking as well?
What's that?
Networking as well included on this charger, or
nope, not this one. But you do have option for, like I said, USB-C for firmware or things like that. But yep, just charging only for this guy.
Okay, copy that. So then I know we've got the single earmuff headsets and the handheld walkies. This is all one system as well over here.
Yep. So this is our MicroCom series. So when we switch off from the CrewCom, now we get into MicroCom. So the CrewCom stuff is all the rack-based systems. So if you need the actual I/O. So if you need the I/O, you can do one of the rack-based units. Right. But if you don't need all the additional I/O, then you can do the MicroCom, which is just the portable point-to-point.
Right.
So this is very, very popular for us in a lot of different capacities. We do a lot of this in smaller theaters, a lot of house of worship. We do a lot of the educational market as well. So where some of those smaller theaters or some of those scenarios where people don't necessarily need that I/O to traditional intercom or interfacing with higher end products, they can do something like this where it's just throw everything in a Pelican case. It's just portable point to point, very simple to operate, very low cost, and very feature rich at the same time.
Right. So, yeah, I know this is the last time I feel like I was quoting a customer out for one of these. It was a small church, and they just needed to kind of get their feet wet essentially within kind of the comp game, and so this was like a very suitable setup for that.
Exactly, and that's really where a lot of those applications where people will start, where maybe they're not super tech savvy or they don't necessarily have the budget for a higher end comm system, or they just don't need all the utility that some of the higher end stuff can do. We've got people that they just go one step up from 2A radio and they do the M series, which is just, single channel comm and 5 users. So very basic, very easy. But typically most people will spring for the XR series, which is 2 channels, and we can go up to 9 users in full duplex. And what's nice is this is the one that's got the belt pack, or we can do the wireless all-in-one headset option as well. So we've got the single ear version, and we also have the dual ear version of this as well, and it's all cross-compatible on one system. So we can have users mix and match depending on what their job function might be, what their personal preference is, whether they want something over the ear, if they want little in-ear headsets and something more discreet. We've got a lot of different options for this particular system, which make it super convenient and very customizable for whatever project or crew might be using it.
Yeah, so it's nice to be able to adapt to whomever's workflow. So
absolutely.
You guys have a lot of accessories that are really catering to that. So
and that's really the big thing for us is just, adaptability, being very user-friendly, simple to operate. So, somebody can buy this not having been, a comms user before. They can be comfortable taking this out of the box, having a system set up in less than 10 minutes. So very user-friendly.
Very user-friendly.
Yeah.
So what is the IP-rated transceiver called? So we had a...
The IP-rated transceiver? Yeah. So this is the CRT-900-IPR.
All right, CRT-900-IPR.
IPR, correct. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So there we have it.
And talk to us about some of those accessories at the very end.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as the MicroCom is concerned, we just have a couple of the accessories out right now. So of course we've got our specialty headsets here. So we've got 2 different options as far as like an in-ear. So this guy, this is actually a push-to-talk option. So it's got an inline PTT adapter with an in-ear and a lav mic. And then this is actually our newest in-ear headset. So this is the PHS-IEHU. And we do these in a couple different pin configurations. Obviously, we do it in the dual 3.5 to work with the radio packs for XR. But we do this exact same thing in 4-pin and 5-pin option for our CrewCom belt packs. So this is out now. We sell quite a few of these, actually. They retail for just under $200, which is a great price point. And we work with 2 different partners in Chicago to do custom in-ear molds for this as well. So this has been doing very, very well for us on the market. These 2 things here for the XR, so we actually have an antenna extension with a 6-foot cable that'll work, so you can put that on your main master unit for the XR pack to get you a little bit of extended coverage and get it up in the air. And then this adapter here is actually really unique. This allows you to do 2 different things. This guy will give you the option to connect to either an existing 4-wire intercom system that's in a venue, or you can actually pull program audio in with this guy as well.
Oh, so it can go either
so
way.
It's just a little 3.5 in. And like I said, whether you're doing 4-wire comm signal or bringing in program audio, it'll do either one. So that's something that's pretty unique to us. That gives you a really neat option for something down in this range to be able to connect to other comm systems, pull program audio, whatever, which you typically don't see down in this type of comm range.
Yeah,
so
you're
as
getting a
far
little
as
bit
like
of those advanced
utility
features.
functionality, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
So
just trying to give everybody as many options as possible,
Yeah.
depending on what their needs might be. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, you guys are definitely excelling at that, Matt. I really appreciate your time.
Excellent.
Looking at the chat, doesn't look like we have any more questions, so we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.